Hi, welcome. I'm here today to talk about being in a dynamic group and what does that mean? So we know that when we stop trying to evolve on our own and join a group of other people that prioritize their growth, higher levels of connection and transformation, growth, change, positive change are possible. So for being in a dynamic group, if you're hanging out with me, then I'd like you to be dynamic. So what does that mean? So first, we want to be all in. Being all in means several different things, but it means not lurking, not being a skeptic of the group, or just kind of hanging out in the background. It means being fully engaged with your own growth as much as being fully interested and engaged with other people's growth and struggles and what they're going through. So being all in. Then we want to prioritize your growth. It means like all of the other things in life that have your attention, and there's always a lot going on and lots of people doing things in lots of places, and this is time. It's time now to prioritize your growth. So being in this group means when you show up in the group, you're focused on your growth and outside the group, but specifically in the group. Prioritizing, choosing to make your growth priority. And we also, thirdly, like to engage our edge. So this is, the edge is edgy. The edge can be scary. It might be something that you have resistance with. And in this dynamic group, I want you to engage your edge. So if you tend to be someone that overpowers the group because you talk a lot or post a lot or have a lot to share, then you need to tone it back and practice listening. And if you're someone that just kind of listens and sits back and watches the group, then you need to start to engage your edge by vocalizing more, posting more, and being more involved. In our groups, we also nurture identity evolution. And there'll be way more information on this, but the idea is as you change and shift to being a healthier, happier person, as you change your habits, as you add new ones, your identity shifts. You might be someone that identifies as a night owl. Well, that's cool. I like night owls, like the birds. But unfortunately, it's for most people not healthy to be up late at night. That's when our body's resting, digesting, cleansing, and if we're awake, that stuff isn't able to happen. So there might be a need to be an identity shift there. So we nurture identity evolution. It's kind of like if you think about who you want to be in a year, and you take him or her and bring them into the present moment, now you're that person. So nurturing that identity. We also listen deeply in our groups, like this mudra for listening deeply. So you want to not only listen to the words that people are speaking, but their body language, sensing the energy behind the words if it's in person or on a video. If it's on a post, then actually reading the whole post before you comment. So listening deeply and just noticing what your intuition says about that post, if there's something else there, so listening deeply. And we also communicate with candor and care. So that means that we are compassionate and loving, but also speak the truth. And that's a interesting balance that can be challenging to engage your edge with candor and care. If you tend to be more caring, can you still lovingly speak the truth? And if you are kind of blunt all the time, how can you soften the edges, right? And in my groups, there's no whining. No whiners. I don't want any complaining. It's not the right group for you. If you want to complain, you'll have to find another group. Another thing we do in this group is we reach out before we tweak out. That means if you're at home struggling with something alone, you reach out to another member of the group or me and say, my mind is like X and I need help. Whatever the situation is. Reach out before you tweak out. And I love the next one. Overcoming resistance by kindling desire. So when we resist something, there's a resistance, there's a pushback, but what's on the other side of the resistance? That's the breakthrough. So when you know that, it allows you to overcome the resistance more easily or embrace the resistance because you're like, ooh, there's a breakthrough on the other side. So yeah, overcoming resistance by kindling the desire. The desire is to grow, right? The desire is to get to that other side of the resistance, to be the morning bird that gets the worm. This is an example. We also, in our groups, give to receive. It's a heart chakra practice. I am the nourisher of the universe, giving and receiving. If I give a hug and a smile, positive affirmation on someone's post, the universe or that person will give back. It's this exchange from the heart. It's a heart-centered giving and receiving. It's beautiful. I like to glance over here because there's the water. Lastly, we want to be ready for action. That means being ready for action. Being ready to show up as a dynamic member of the group, having your questions ready for the group or the leader. Basically all of the other guidelines for the dynamic group, having all those and being ready. Having your laser coaching question if you have a specific coaching question. If you're having trouble concisely putting it into a statement and not going into, excuse me, a story about it. Well, when so-and-so wasn't able to get up and then getting ready for work was a struggle and this happened and then I spilt it, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't help the dynamic group. It's not that we don't care, but to be an active member of a dynamic group, you kind of want to cut the stories out and get to the point so that the group can continue to evolve and grow and bounce off each other in a more progressive, evolutionary way. I think being ready for action also includes really like journaling about being in the group, your experience during group calls or meetings or Facebook Lives, absorbing and digesting what happened so that next time, you know, you can share and engage your edge and deeply listen. Did I go over deeply listening? Yeah, deeply listening. Yeah. So those are the 11 guidelines. And I'm sure you'll hear more about them because I'm very passionate about being in groups that are dynamic. Why not engage our edge? Why not deeply listen? So, anyways, I hope this was helpful. I hope you're ready to be in a dynamic group with me. And I love you. Namaste.